I learned a very valuable lesson. Don't ask 9-year-olds how old you think you are, because they will tell you the truth.
Yes.
And I'd always thought I looked pretty young. So I was like 55 when I was asking the question, and I'd get people yelling, "You're 90! Like, are you 100? And I just thought, I'm not going to ask that question anymore, because I didn't really like hearing those answers. But in one way, getting older now is excellent. I look forward to birthdays, especially when I turned 55. That was an excellent year, because that was the year I got to retire. But it was excellent for another reason, because I moved up one age group. And then when I turned 60, I thought that's excellent as well, because I moved up 1 year in my age group. So now I'm looking forward to 65. My birthday's in September. This coming September, I'm going to be 64. But it's kind of neat, because the following January, I turn 65. Now, I know you're doing the math and you're going, how do you turn 65 in January if you turn 64 in September? Well, it has to do with these age groups when you race. Because I am a racer, and you race within your age groups. It wouldn't be fair for me to have to try to beat people who are early 20s, but I don't have to race them. All I have to do is race the other people in my age group. And the way the age groups work is 60 to 64. So when I turned 60, I was the young guy beating the old people who were 64. So now I'm looking forward to 65, and that's going to be a very important year, because I believe that's the year the grand final will be here at Edmonton again. And I'll be talking more about the grand final later on. So yeah, I'm old, but I'm not as old as I'd like to be, because if I was a little bit older, I know I would win for sure. Right now, a little bit of competition in there. To start with, I grew up in Edmonton long ago on the south side. And one of the things about growing up on the south side is you're scared of the north side. The north side people were scared. See, she knows. She knows, because she hears south side and she goes, oh, one of those little. We used to beat those guys. We were scared of the girls. No, forget the guys, we were scared of the girls. We didn't come to the north side, and I felt it as I was driving across the river. I'm coming to the north side.
And you were scared of the girls.
I hope nobody's going to beat me up when I get here. Because on the south side it was bucolic. It was lovely on the south side. It was always sunny. We didn't get snow. And that was hard, tough people on the north side to watch out for. When I was growing up, we were poor. We were poor. My father was a barber, so he didn't make a lot of money. But he thought it was important for all of us in the family. We were 4 kids. We always had bicycles. So I always had a bike. And one of my first memories as a kid is riding my bike, a little blue bike, you know, no fancy gears or anything on it. But I could ride my bike as much as I wanted. In those days, you could ride on the road. I was talking with a guy a little earlier. You say the guy he knows got hit on the road with his bike. Unconscious for a year and a half. I'm thinking, in those days we rode on the road. There weren't that many cars around compared to now. So you were always riding your bike. So I grew up as a pretty good bike rider. I was really small as a kid growing up. Smallest kid in the class all the time. Smallest kid starting high school in grade 10. I was a slow runner, but I was a pretty good bike rider, but I didn't know how to swim. I couldn't swim at all. I was talking to one other fellow here, and saying, he can't swim, can't do triathlons because he can't swim. I couldn't swim, but it was no big deal because there was no swimming pool close to where I lived. But I rode my bike, and I rode my bike a lot, and I got to be a pretty good bike rider. And although we didn't have money, my dad always made sure I had a bike that fit me properly, so I was able to run. So that was through elementary school. Slowest kid running, probably one of the faster kids on the bike. Get to junior high. Junior high, discover girls. And one of the places where you could see the girls was at the swimming pool. We had a new swimming pool that was built not far from where I lived by Bonnie Doon Shopping Center. There's a Bonnie Doon swimming pool. And at the swimming pool, there would be girls in bathing bathing suits. Gerry's no fool. Let's go hang out in the swimming pools and the girls in the bathing suits. But it was embarrassing not being able to swim. So in grade 8, I talked my mom into sending me for swimming lessons. And I got to be a pretty good swimmer. So I could ride my bike, and I turned into a pretty good swimmer, and by the time I got to high school, I was actually getting pretty fast. I was a pretty fast swimmer. By the end of grade 12, we had the swim meet, the final swim meet in high school, and although I didn't win any races, I was certainly there. I was okay. I was competing. So that was great, but I was still a really slow runner. So high school, I'm on the swim team, I'm on the water polo team. Forget the football team, because I'm still a scrawny little kid, and I'm really slow, you know, can't play basketball, can't do what. But I could ride my bike, and I could swim. But unfortunately, there were no sports for me. Because back then, there was nothing. You know, if you could run, you could play soccer. But if you can't run, you can't play soccer. So I kind of lost track of being the athlete I used to think I was, but not really. I get through high school, starting to pick up a few bad habits, snack food, staying up late. Never started smoking, so I was okay there. A little bit of alcohol here and there, not the greatest thing in the world for you. Went to work right out of high school, wanted some money. Got some money, go drink beer. So now I'm getting heavy. I probably weighed close to 200 pounds. Which is a little heavy for a guy like me. Quit working, went to university. Go to university, now I'm around active people again. So I'm starting to do more. I'm swimming, I'm still riding my bike. When I worked downtown and had to ride up the river valley. I'm on Southside boy. Ride up the river valley so I could still ride my bike. So my bike riding's good. My swimming's still pretty good because swimming's technique. I had good technique, so I could swim. Still couldn't really run, but some of the people I knew would go for a run. Go and do that, and I was always slow. But no big deal. So I'm going, hey, look at me. I'm an athlete. I'm an athlete. I can do stuff. Fast forward for a few years here. I'm out, I'm working. I meet my future wife. She gets pregnant. I get fat. And I mean fat because she's pregnant. So being the good husband, I'm fetching her snacks. She has the baby, she gets light. I don't have a baby. I'm a big fat guy. My kids are getting a little older. Evan, he was my firstborn, he's 5 years old, and he wants to play soccer, community league soccer. And when you play soccer, under fives, the coach goes on the field. You can run around with the kids and say, okay, forget about the dandelions, come here, kick the ball. And I had to be coached because nobody else in the community wanted to be coached. And I figured, I'm an athlete. I can do this. I weighed about 210 pounds at the time, I think. I'm an athlete, lying to myself. I go out there and I'm running around with kids. And at the end of the first half, 20 minutes, and like I'm running with 5-year-olds, so I'm not running fast. I sit down in the lawn chair to talk to the team because I'm too tired to stand up and talk to the team. And I've got parents coming over and saying, are you okay? Are you okay? My face apparently was bright red, and they thought I was having a heart attack. And I'm going, that's kind of insulting. I'm in shape, I'm an athlete. I wasn't. You know, and I looked at myself, you know, the next day and I said, you've been lying to yourself, you got to do something. So what are you going to do? And I decided, I'm going to do a triathlon. Because I knew about triathlon before I hadn't done it. Now, if you don't know about triathlon is pretty simple. You go for a swim, you go for a bike ride, and you go for a run. And that's all there is to it. And I could swim. I was a good swimmer, so I got a head start on most people. I'm still riding my bike, so I'm a bike rider, so I'm okay. But I can't run. So I decided I'm not telling anyone. I'm just going to go out, get in shape. So one of the things I did was I just quit drinking beer. Because beer was one of the reasons I was heavy. So I didn't drink beer. And I would go out for a run. But I would go out late in the evening after the kids were in bed. And I didn't really want to have people see me running in the neighborhood. And I wasn't going to drive anywhere because it wasn't worth driving anywhere. Because the extent of my run was I'd go out my front door, go to the end of the sidewalk, and I'd start running. The furthest I could run was from one street light to the next street light. And I would be tired. I would be tired and I'd be breathing heavy. So I would run that far and I'd walk one. So it was run one, walk one. Run one, walk one. And it would develop, oh, I'm getting in shape. Now I'm running 3. So it's the equivalent of running about 100 meters and then walking. And I just kept doing that. And I just said, I'll do it as long as I need to. I'll keep doing it, but I'm not telling anyone about it. You know, so I set a goal in my mind, but I didn't share it with anyone because I knew what they would say. They would be saying, are you crazy? Don't do that. Like, why? Why are you doing that? You got bad knees, you're going to hurt yourself. Blah, blah. And so I figured, I'm not telling anyone. Registered for my first race. It was supposed to be in 1999. Still haven't told anyone. So people don't even know that I've registered for this, but they had noticed that I was in better shape. Registered for the race. I'm playing baseball in the teacher's baseball tournament. Slide into second base and get my knee blown out. My knee is just shot. I go see the doctor. He says, well, we'll put you in a cast for 6 months. You come back after 6 months, we'll reevaluate. Did the operation, everything else on it, and said, yeah, you should be all right. I said, oh, good. I'm going to go back to doing triathlons. And he said, oh, no. You can swim and you can ride your bike, but you can't run. What happens if I run? We're going to have to replace your knee anyways. By the time you're 60, you run on that, you'll be back here in 5 years. So I'm going, okay, I'll be at work, I'll get compensation, that's fine. So I started running again. And my surgeon, he didn't know what he was talking about in replacement of the knee, but boy, he did a good job on the knee, because it was better than it was before. So I'm running and running and running, and I'm in shape, and I'm going, okay, now I can do a triathlon. I'm ready to go. This is 2001. It's a triathlon out in Sherwood Park. Not a big one, but it's, you know, there's a few people. There's like 125 people in the race, and I've got realistic expectations. I'm not going to win. I just want to get out there and participate and not embarrass myself. And I'm riding my high school 10-speed bike. So I go and put it in the rack, and in the rack, there's bikes like this. My bike doesn't look like this at that time. So I put my bike in there, and it's a little embarrassing, you know. I said, okay, I got the old bike, and I don't have the fancy uniform to be racing in. I got a t-shirt and some shorts on. Do the swim, do the bike ride, I'm coming in on the run. I'm almost dead. I cross the line. There's like 4 or 5 people behind me. I think I was 5th last in the race. But everybody's cheering as I come across the line, and I'm going, excellent, it's the pity clap. It's the pity clap for the guy who's slow and old. I'm going, oh, this is great. And I finish up, and I go and I have my shower, and I'm leaving, because I'm thinking in my head, well, that was dumb. Why did I even do this? I'm just tired and it was a waste of time. And they're announcing the winners of the race. And they're going, well, first overall, you know, Gord Birdie, and second, and I'm walking to the car with my bike, and they go, and in 3rd place, Gerry Kaluzniak. And I go, what? That's me. And I'm thinking, oh, it's a booby prize, it's a joke. But I go up there, and I got a medal for racing. I was 3rd in my age group. Oh, I didn't know about age group stuff then. I thought 125 people, I finished 120th. Well, I did, but when the age group came, there were only 3 people in my age group. So all I had to do was finish, and I get a medal. So I got the medal, and I'm walking around, oh, this is pretty weird, this medal. I strip it down, people go, oh, hey, you got a medal. I said, well, first race ever, I got a medal. And people who know triathlon know what happened there, but none of my friends knew that. They didn't even know I was racing. So, you know, I show up, and I got a medal. I take it to school. I'm a junior high school teacher, and I leave my medal sitting on my desk. Some of my students are coming up and they're going, hey, Mr. K, what's that? I said, oh, it's just my triathlon medal. They're going, what? You do triathlons? You're an old man. How can you do that? Oh, it's nothing. There's nothing to it. Set goals. Set goals in life, because I was a health teacher. Set goals. Work towards what you want in life. So now we're going to fast forward a long way, because that was my first race. I like to talk about that when getting the medal. So now that I know there's age group stuff, I start thinking, the next race there might be more than 3 people in my age group. So maybe I need to compete. Maybe I need to train harder so that I can be more successful. So I start doing that. So my first race, 2001, I get a medal. And I decide, I'm not just gonna do this little sprint race, because it was a sprint. Now when you hear sprint, you're thinking, that doesn't take very long. Well, a sprint race for the guys in the Olympics takes about an hour.